Yes, sir.
Yes, please start with your presentation. Your camera is not visible, Dhruti.
Is it visible, sir?
Yeah. Can you just confirm your topic?
Future location prediction system.
So I have your name, that is 10th March future location prediction. I
Yes, sir.
believe you tried to reschedule it.
Yes, sir. Actually, on that day I was in hospital, so I could not be
Okay, then
present.
we will take your presentation today. Okay, Anikesh, we will have your presentation when it is your turn. We will go in order of raised hands. If your presentation is not done due to time limit, then we will not give you any kind of negative valuation. So just raise your hand, come first and raise your hand, then we will have your presentation first. So right now we are going in order. So first is Dhruti Patel. Please introduce yourself and start the presentation. I will turn on the share screen.
Uh,
I have turned it on. Please try to share
sir,
the screen.
is it visible, sir?
It is loading. Yeah, it is visible. You can start.
Good evening, sir. My project name is a future location prediction system using data IKU, and my task name is a develop a future location prediction system. So the purpose of this task is to know about how tools like data IKU use for ML machine learning model creation. Okay. Sorry, sir. So the outline of my presentation are introduction, data IKU, implementation, dataset detail, lasso regression, XGBoost algorithm, workflow, comparison, conclusion, and references. So introduction. So what is the future location prediction system? It is a system which predict a person's future location based on a real-time location data. That would be the next step in utilizes functionality. The proposed system can predict a user's future location using a current location and time, and learning from the user's previously visited location. Uh, and I have developed this system using a data IQ with a machine learning algorithm, XGBoost, and uh, lasso regression. So data IQ. What is data IQ? Data IQ is a collaborative data science software platform. It is a centralized working environment that make it easy to manipulate the data, quickly explore and share analysis, and make a prediction and create AI models with a few clicks. The performance, the platform is also designed to simplify the automation and industrialization of processing chains, like, for example, data collection, data preparation, training, testing, etc. Uh, the platform include a complete graphical interface, and this system also used in a prediction of such as the customer segmentation, fraud detection, etc. Implementation. Um, in first step, I have uploaded a location dataset in data IQ, and then perform a lasso regression on a dataset and predict a latitude and then perform a XGBoost algorithm on a new dataset and create after performing a lasso regression and then predict a latitude and then compare XGBoost algorithm with another algorithm and then evaluate model. So here is my dataset detail. A location dataset have a 1537 row and 7 columns, and it has 7 features: ID, event time start, event time, and latitude start, longitude start, latitude and end, longitude end. So here latitude is a geographical coordinate that measure a north and south position of a point on a Earth surface, and longitude is the east west position of point. and the event time start is the starting time of an event or location that being tracked. So then I perform a lasso regression on a data set. Lasso regression is a machine learning algorithm used for a linear regression analysis. In a linear regression analysis, it will predict a target variable using a feature variable. It is a type of regularization technique that help to prevent our overfitting in model by shrinking the coefficient of the input variable towards zero. So the overfitting is a one type of machine learning problem. In this problem, ML gives a model. ML gives machine learning models gives accurate prediction for training data, but gives inaccurate result for testing data or new data. In lasso regression, the objective is to minimize the sum of a square error between a predicted and target variable. The effect of this constraint is to force some of the coefficient to be exactly zero, effectively perform a feature selection, and then reduce the dimensionality of problem. And by reducing the number of input variable, lasso regression can predict accurate result of data or our testing. So here is the output of my algorithm. So it will give it give 99% accuracy. And then I perform XGBoost algorithm on it. So XGBoost extreme gradient boosting is a machine learning algorithm that used for a regression and classification problem. And it has ability to handle a missing value in data set instead of inputting a missing value. The XGBoost algorithm works a series of decision tree where each tree is trained to correct the error of a previous tree. So decision tree is a one type of graphical format in a in a decision tree. A root node represent data set, and the internal node represent uh, a feature variable, and the leaf node represent a target variable. In this way, XGBoost algorithm reduce the error and model produce a more accurate prediction. So XGBoost algorithms accuracy is 99%. This is a workflow of my project, which is automatically created in this data science studio, data IQ, and this is a comparison. I have compared algorithm with algorithm. So random forest give 0.83% accuracy, gradient and logistic regression gives 0.58% accuracy, 58% accuracy. So conclusion is that XGBoost with lasso regression algorithm give a high accuracy compared to another algorithm. Here is the references. Thank you. This is my model I have created in Data Science Studio. So first, I have uploaded data set. This is my location data set. And this is a variable ID, event time, start, event time, and latitude, start, longitude, start, latitude, and longitude, and then create data set. So the data set is created. Then I will click on flow. So this is my data set. And then perform a lab operation on it by clicking on a new analysis. So this is my data set. And now I will select a model. for machine learning algorithm. My target feature is latitude and then I will simply click on this algorithm. So random forest. This is my target latitude and train test ratio is 0.8%. Means 80% divided data set is divided to training set and 20% is divided to testing set. Using this feature selection, we can select our feature, we can generate our feature or reduce our features. And my algorithm. So I will click on train. So model is train. It will take some time. So, like this, I have created my project, future location system prediction. This is the location prediction system, and then I perform a lasso regression on a data set and predict a destination latitude and then this is the new and then create a new data set. This is my new data set, and then perform a XGBoost algorithm on it. By clicking on new view analysis. So this is my algorithm. By clicking on action, so this Python file will automatically created by this. This file automatically created by the Data Science Studio, DataIQ. This is my Python file, and it gives 0.99% accuracy. And then I have compared my algorithm with another algorithm. This is the accuracy of another algorithm. Random forest have 58% accuracy, gradient boosting have 58% accuracy, and SVM have 41% accuracy. So, so my conclusion is that XGBoost with the lasso regression algorithm give high accuracy in compared to another algorithm. Thank you, sir.
Are you taking questions for Q&A?
Sorry?
Are you taking questions for Q&A?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in your Jupyter notebook, I believe I saw the accuracy was 99%, around somewhere, 99 point some accuracy. And
Yes, sir.
and then in the data IQ, you are saying the accuracy is 58%. So can you properly explain what it is?
Actually, I have compared my algorithm. So I perform my algorithm. This is my data set, and first I perform lasso regression on dataset, and the new dataset is created, and then perform a XGBoost algorithm on this dataset. And the accuracy of this algorithm is 99%. Uh, I have compared another this accuracy with another algorithm, which are 58%.
So with the predicting using the decision tree, I believe that is random forest, the decision tree. So that is 58%, right? And with the XG boost, it is 99%. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
correct?
XGBoost with lasso regression, sir.
Okay. So can you show me in the data IQ where it says 99%? So I can
Sir,
see random forest says 58, gradient boosted tree says 58,
yes,
and then XG boot doesn't say anything.
yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So one is 99, another is 58%, right? And
Yes,
in your conclusion, have you concluded that XG boost is better?
yes, sir.
Can you show me in the PPT?
Sorry, sir.
Show me in the PPT conclusion.
Yes, sir. XGBoost with lasso regression algorithm give high accuracy in compared
Okay,
to
okay,
another.
okay, okay, good. Okay. So these things need to be like, properly explained to the viewers so that we understand what is going on under the hood. Okay. So the
Okay.
output should be explained properly. I have told you this yesterday also, that the
Yes.
output must be explained properly. Okay.
Okay.
There should be no point of keyword if, with regards to the output. Okay. So from next
Okay.
time, keep this in mind that output must be like, explained properly. Other than
Okay.
that, I would say your overall presentation was good. Okay, yeah, the demo was good. But at the first, you had the flowchart in your PPT, you didn't explain it. Then we went to demo, you again didn't explain it. And after
Yes.
the third time we saw your flowchart, it was quite, vague explanation. It was not good. Okay, so try to explain the flowcharts
Okay.
really good because people get
Okay.
really like, they really want to know what the flowchart or diagram is saying. Okay, because no
Okay.
one want to
Okay.
read the like this text that is written, but if it is a diagram and flowchart, everyone want to look what it is. Okay, so try to explain this thing properly. Other than that, I would say overall it was okay. Okay, it was not
Okay.
quite good like yesterday because
Oh,
we had lasso regression and everything. You
oh,
just read it from the slide. Okay, see,
okay.
if I want to know what is lasso regression, I can just do a simple Google search. I will get the
Yes.
same thing that you have written in the PPT and what you told me. Okay,
Yes.
your thing, the thing is in presentation, you need to explain the lasso regression. Okay, and
Yes, sir.
I believe that was quite lacking somewhere. Okay, you should have explained it properly. The thing is, when you are explaining the algorithm, okay, it is not about giving the basic idea of what the algorithm is. It is about how your input data is being used with the lasso regression and how it will
Yes.
affect the output. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
that should be done with respect to your data, which will make it really easy for everyone to
Yes,
understand what is going on and why we have chosen
sir.
the two different algorithms. Okay, so
Okay.
for next time onward, keep these things in mind. I would say this presentation was quite okay, but in terms of demo, there is quite really good improvement from last time. Your demo was really good. Okay, I would say that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
overall, I would say it was a good presentation. Okay, so keep it up.
Okay.
Now I'll move on to next person. That is Dhokai Bhargavi. Yes, Bhargavi. Please
Yes,
turn
sir.
your
Good evening,
camera.
sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Sir, can I share my screen?
Yeah, you can start.
So it is visible.
Yeah, it is visible. You can start.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Dhokai Bhargavi. I am from Cloud Computing Group, and today I was presenting on a topic of Amazon S3 bucket. Now let's start with presentation flow. First, we see what is Amazon S3. Next, function and concept of S3. Advantages and disadvantages, requirements and implementation, and last conclusion. First, what is Amazon S3? Amazon S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. It is storage for the internet. S3 provides developers and IT teams with.
Sorry to interrupt, Bhargavi. Are you on the different slide? Because I can only see the topic and presented by screen. First slide. See if it is some problem with the share screen. Yeah, now I can see multiple slides. You can start again.
Yes, sir. What is Amazon S3? S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. It is a storage for the internet. S3 provides developers and IT teams with secure, durable, highly scalable object storage. It is easy to use with a simple web service interface to store and retrieve any amount of data from anywhere on the web. Like a non-IT person also create a Amazon S3 account and store his data because it is very easy to use. Also, unlimited storage of objects files containing of 1 byte to 5 gigabytes each. Objects are stored and retrieved using a developer assigned key. Data are kept secure from unauthorized access through authentication mechanism. Objects can be made available to public by the HTTP or bit-orient protocol. There are a person is store data in a S3 bucket, and for example, he is lost his data from her laptop or his personal system. Then he used to download and used her data from S3 bucket. All objects are stored in bucket. A bucket is simply a container for objects. It is used to partition the namespace of objects at the highest level. Buckets are similar to internet domain name. They are accessed via bucket name or Amazon.com. Each developer account has a limit of 100 buckets. A key is the unique identifier for an object within a bucket. A bucket and key together uniquely identify each object is S3. Every object can be addressed through bucket and queue combination. Now we see advantages and disadvantages of S3 bucket. Scalability, the amount of storage and bandwidth you need can scale as you like without any configuration changes needed. They are unlimited storage capacity. You pay as you go, inexpensive and no capital outlay. It is great for startup. Disadvantages, not user friendly for beginner level computer users. S3 is basically UI-less. Trust, not all types of business or services might be comfortable with storing their data in the cloud, especially those with extremely sensitive and confidential data, for example, banking system. Because bank are most of data are secure, then banking system are not used to Amazon S3 bucket. Requirement to get started using S3, and we required an account of Amazon Web Service. Then after creating the AWS account, you need to sign up the S3 by clicking the sign up for his web service button at this page. Now we see the demo. मैंने यहाँ पे ऑलरेडी बकेट क्रिएट करके रखा है. अब हम यहाँ पे अपना एक फोल्डर अपलोड या फाइल अपलोड करेंगे. यहाँ हमने सक्सेसफुली एक फाइल अपलोड की है.
Bhargavi, are you on the Amazon AWS screen? Because I can only see the PPT. I can't see your screen.
Oh, yes, sir. It is visible, sir?
Yes, now it is visible.
There is our bucket, Vachraj bucket. मैंने यहाँ पे 2 ऑब्जेक्ट अपलोड करके रखे हैं। अब हम बकेट पॉलिसी एडिट करेंगे। यहाँ हमने उस पे S3 बकेट पॉलिसी सिलेक्ट किया है। फिर यहाँ पे हमने वो यूजर आईडी डाला है जो आई एम यूजर क्या एक्शन परफॉर्म कर सकते हैं, तो ये आई एम यूजर का आईडी है। यहाँ पे हमने एक्शन सिलेक्ट किए कि आई एम यूजर क्या परफॉर्म करेंगे, तो वो डिलीट बकेट को डिलीट कर सकेंगे। और यहाँ पे हमारे बकेट का ARN है। नाउ our policy was generated, then IAM user is delete our bucket. There is our policy. यहाँ हम लाइफ साइकिल रूल क्रिएट करेंगे। हमने लाइफ साइकिल रूल का नाम रखा है माई रूल। फिर हमने उसको ऑल ऑब्जेक्ट पे अप्लाई किया है और ये उसके सब एक्शन है। नाउ हमने जो स्टोर किया था वो स्टैंडर्ड ए है। उसमें 30 डेज के बाद वो हमारा जो ऑब्जेक्ट है वो करंट वर्जन में स्टैंडर्ड ए में शिफ्ट होगा। फिर उसके और 30 डेज के बाद वो इंटेलिजेंट टीयरिंग उसमें मतलब के 60 डेज के बाद उसमें होगा, उसमें आ जाएगा। फिर नॉन करंट वर्जन के लिए वो भी सेम ही है। 30 डेज के बाद वो स्टैंडर्ड ए में आएगा और फिर 60 डेज के बाद इंटेलिजेंट टीयरिंग में स्टोर होगा। हमारा जो करंट वर्जन है वो कब एक्सपायर होगा, वो है 360 डेज 365 डेज के बाद वो एक्सपायर होगा। और जो हमारा नॉन करंट वर्जन है वो भी 365 डेज के बाद डिलीट होगा। नाउ वी क्रिएट अ रूल। We are successfully created a rule. Conclusion, Amazon S3 is a scalable, durable, and reliable service to build and manage a secure data. We can store structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data from wide variety of sources into a centralized platform. Any question, then you can ask me. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I have a question.
Yes.
So why did we create a policy that given a thing you were doing in this?
अब पॉलिसी हम इसलिए बनाते हैं क्योंकि कोई भी जो IAM यूजर है हमारा वो बकेट को एडिट कर सकता है, डिलीट कर सकता है, इसलिए हमें पॉलिसी बनाते हैं।
Okay. Policy rules were created for that. Okay. So is there anyone else with the question? Else I can continue with that.
सॉरी सर, आपका आवाज नहीं आ रहा है।
Okay. I believe there are no further questions. So overall, I would say it was okay for your presentation. Okay, but your explanation was not good because you were mostly reading your slides for most of the part. Okay, you need to work on the explanation. The thing is, and the task introduction was not done properly because you need to give us awareness like what your task is, what is the main aim of the task. Okay, So that was missing. Okay, so you need to give that. From next time onward, try to, like, have a simple introduction, what the task is, what is the aim, what you are trying to achieve. Okay, it will make it easy for your viewers to understand what is going on in the presentation. And for the presentation part, I saw that most of the things you were like just reading from the slide. Okay, that is not acceptable. Try to explain some things. Okay, and other than that, when you have things like Amazon S3 and these things, okay, so try to give a comparison with other competitors in the market, because this is a presentation. This is not a, like, classes or a tutorial on getting started with the S3. You are giving a presentation on S3, so you need to convince me to use Amazon S3. Okay, because you are here as an Amazon DevOps engineer. Okay, so you need to convince me why I should continue using Amazon S3, why I should not go for Microsoft Azure or some other service. Okay, so you need to tell me that. And other than that, your overall demo I saw was also not good, because you did some things. The demo was completely correct. You did it. You completed it. I would not say it was not wrong. It was correct, but the explanation was lacking, because the explanation was not good, I would say, because it was not sure. I was not sure what you were doing in the demo. Okay, you just said that this is how I did it. This is what we can do. This is how we are supposed to do it. But why we are supposed to do it? So in the Q&A, that is why I asked you why the policy exists. Because for all the viewers who are watching this, they didn't understand why the policies are being created. So you need to give a proper explanation on these things. Okay, because they are part of your demo. They are part of your presentation. The thing is, when you are giving a presentation, these things can be overlooked. Okay, this is not the things that everyone remembers, that yes, I need to talk about it. So okay, but as time goes on, you will understand what are the things that should be included in the presentation. So work on it. You have skill for presentation, for giving on the AWS. There was thing, but you need to, some kind of practice before coming in. So next time when you are here, practice before coming here, then you will perform really well. Okay. Overall, I would say your presentation was good. You will get your marks after the meeting. Okay. So thank you for the presentation. Now I'll move on to next question. So next is Simran Khan.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, very
My
good.
name is Simran Khan, and sir, shall I share my screen?
Yeah, please share this.
Sir, is it visible?
Yeah, it is visible. You can start.
Okay. Good evening, sir. My name is Simran Khan, and I am from Cybersecurity batch, joined on 16th January. So for today's presentation, my task is to prepare a report on how we can identify cybersecurity risks and threats. So first of all, a very special thanks to the Hackveda to provide such a great opportunity for me to research on this very important topic, that how can we simply search that what kind of risk or threats we are having in our system. And then we are on table of contents means index. So acknowledgement we have already gone through. Then we have executive summary, followed by the synopsis means abstract, a small brief of whole of the content. Then we will look after some common risk and threats. For example, malware attacks or social engineering attacks. And at last but not least, we will we will just look for the ways that how can we identify risks, cybersecurity risks and threats. So first of all, a small overview of cybersecurity risks and threats. So the very first question, we should know that what is cybersecurity risk. So it is generally, we can say that the damage that can be applied or that can be performed on our data, on our asset that is present in our device, that can be concluded as a risk. And here is a small process that how risk can be performed. Like it is basically based is cyber crime. Firstly, it will look that if somewhere we have a very weak password or the security is not up to that level, then the attacker will attack on that particular point. Then if he or she will succeed in that, then attacks such as malware or ransomware that then will be performed, and that will be led to the consequences such as data loss or data theft or availability loss. So cybersecurity risk is basically the probability of exposure or loss resulting from a cyber attack or data breach. And cybersecurity threat, if we talk about that, it is basically depend on that the risk that we will experience in cyber attack. It is completely depend on the risk, cybersecurity risk. And attack is an intentional and malicious effort by an organization. And the attacker's motive may include information theft or data theft, financial or any professional loss. Then we are followed by the abstract or overview. So we all know that in today's time, cyber civilization has become an important source of information. And the same thing that with the help of cyber or with the help of increasing technology, we can search anything, we can get anything. The same thing is also leading to the increase in cyber crimes. And the one of the major that we can say is the default in web pages. Like anything we will search, we will go firstly on the websites or any web pages to search them. And what is happening nowadays that in 90% of the web pages, there is some of the design default, which led the attacker to attack on our devices and theft or steal the data which is available on our particular device or our system. Cyber threats, and we will discuss about them briefly. So some of the common cybersecurity threat and risks are malware attack, social engineering attack, software supply chain attack, APT means advanced persistent threats, denial of service, and one form of denial of service is also distributed denial of service. Then man in the middle attack, phishing, and its one form is spear phishing, SQL DNS, and there are many more. So now we will going to define these some of these cybersecurity threats in brief. So the very first is malware attack. So this attack is generally what it do, that to get in a user's device, it we can say that it follows many approaches. Like if one is not possible, then by other. But it, however, it can attack or the device of the user. We can say that we have given a link. Like if we will open this link, we will go on some like very important document or something like this. Malware provide us with these links, and if anyone like we can also be in that list. We have just click on that list. Then at the same moment, the attacker who has sent that particular link as a malware attack, he or she can be able to access our all data. And once malware is installed in our device, it can monitor our activities, it can send or gain our confidential data, and also it assists the attacker in any other test or in attacking our data. And further, malware attack includes Trojan virus, ransomware, worms, and spyware. Trojan virus, what is do? It's do like it tricks a user into thinking that it is a harmless file, and that is the reason that most of the users got stuck by this Trojan virus itself. Like we see that it is a harmless file, nothing will happen, and we just simply click on that particular file, and that leads to the loss of our data. Second, we have ransomware. It is similar to the ransom cases we heard in our daily life, like someone is threatening us or to related to our data, like he or she will delete our data or publish it randomly until unless we paid them ransom. So it is that. Then we are followed by the worms. Like worms, this is also a kind of malware which is designed to exploit backdoors and vulnerability to gain unauthorized access. Like any unauthorized access can gain access to our operating system, and after installation of worm in our file or in our system, it can perform various attacks such as DOS, DDoS, DOS is basically denial of services, like when multiple requests is sent on a particular server. Like during giving exams, we saw that many times it said that server is not responding. So it's basically because multiple users are sending requests on that particular website at that same point of time. That's why it acts as a denial of service. Next, we have spyware. It is also a type of malware. So what it does that it enables malicious actors to gain unauthorized access to data that includes our sensitive information, like information related to credit cards or our payment details related to banking, etc. Next, we have social engineering attacks. Social engineering attack, what it do, like it provides users with the information which user is desirable of having on his or her device. It can be also sensitive information. And social engineering attack includes phishing, spear phishing, wishing, and scareware. So what is phishing? Phishing, in this, attacker sends fraud data or the source which seems to be real via email or any other legitimate means, a valid source. And the email the user will see, and he or she will respond to that email, and that lead to hand over the sensitive information to the attacker, or he or she will expose themselves to the malicious downloads. Phishing emails may include an email attachment infected with malware also. Then we have spear phishing. It is a kind of phishing itself, in which attacker specifies a target that have some security privileges or security vulnerability. So that will create a very easy path for attacker to attack on the user's device. Next, we have phishing. Phishing is basically voice phishing. It is also a kind of phishing, but it includes it have the role of voice. It attacks using social engineering technique to target the user by financial or personal means. It can be over the phone or over the laptop or PC, anything. Then we have a scareware. Like in this, it is a very tricky, we can say it is a kind of very tricky virus. Uh, I am using a system, and it will show us like that whatever we are using, like we are using a website. It will let us assume that we are on wrong website, or we have something, some kind of virus or any malicious activity in that particular website. So firstly, it will convince us to assume that. Then at the very next moment, what it will do, it will send a solution to that particular risk. And what will user do? The user will simply open that solution, like it can be any antivirus, in form of any antivirus or anything related to that particular solution to fix the problem, and trick the victim into downloading and installing that particular malware or that social engineering attack. So basically, these were some kind of attacks which can be performed on our computer. Now we will look for the ways in which we can identify cyber risk and threats. So a very basic and easy approach that helps us to identify risk includes a methodology which have three questions. The very first question is that we should know that how can we identify our assets. The very next step is what can be the threats that can be applied on our assets, and the very last step is to identify vulnerability to those threats. So basically these 3 points are interrelated to each other. So if we look for them in detail, the very first point was to identify assets. It includes a series of questions, like the very first thing we should know, what kind of data do I have stored in my computer or device. Like, is it some sort of images or in document form or anything, a video or anything it can be. Then we have to see that whether the data which is stored in my device, is it of mine or somebody else, like it can be of anyone, any friend of mine or any family member. So then the second thing, we have to know that whose data is it. Then we led to the third question, that if our data is hacked or can be accessed by any other third person which we are not known to, what can be the consequences? So this third step, it takes us to another concept which is CIA. It is CIA trait is confidentiality, integrity, availability. To understand it in the very easy way, I have taken some examples. Like to understand confidentiality, let us suppose I have a credit card company and I have the number of the users that are linked to that credit card company with me. And if those numbers or personal identification codes are hacked and someone third which no like they are not related to users, they are not related to me, and they have accessed those numbers and personal identification codes, then our data is not confidential. It is with the person which we are not related to. We can also understand it with a real life example, like I'm sending a message, like WhatsApp, we all use WhatsApp. I'm sending a message to one of my friends and someone in between hacked my device and read that particular message. So here at this point we have lost the confidentiality. And next we have integrity. Like everyone in today's date have used the banking system or check system. So what integrity means that someone can edit or change or modify our data without our consent. For example, I have to pay someone some amount. I have written 15,000, and what the frontier do, he or she has added one more zero. So here we have lost our integrity, means the front person has modified the data without our consent. So this also we can say that our loss of data or financial loss. Then we have availability. It is basically concluding itself by name only, that availability means we can access any particular data at anywhere at any point of time. And if that is not possible, then the availability is not provided efficiently with that system. So that was that how can we identify the assets. Next is that related to assets itself, how we can identify threats. Like we have known that in my device, these kind of documents or data I have installed. So if we can identify the assets, threats will be identifying threats is a very simple step. Like if we know that we can easily identify how threats can be identified. Like, and when it is clearly related to cybersecurity, we just need to refine our identification to the threats. For example, hacking by a remote malicious user is obviously a cyber threat. But what kind of hacking? Like denial of service, we have already discussed, like sending multiple requests to a single server or a single multiple requests on a single website. It will lead to the traffic or unavailability of that particular service. Same way ransomware attack will perform, and in the similar way malware attack, it will force us to install a program that will lead to our data theft or financial loss or any professional or personal loss. Then we have the last step, identifying vulnerabilities. The vulnerabilities basically is that in every point we have some kind of uh, security weakness. Like yes, we have already discussed it in the overview related to websites. So the same thing is vulnerability. And once we have identified the assets and threats, vulnerability can be easily secured. So now I will end up my this report by concluding this whole as a summary. To identify the cybersecurity risk and threats, we cannot identify it by simply just identifying threat or simply only identifying assets. If we want to identify the complete risk or threat, we have to follow all procedures, all three steps alternatively, because the risk landscape has become too complex to manage alone. It can only be done within a community or within when we are following all the steps in order to maintain that particular decorum. And also you need the benefit of that experience to others to be able to identify our asset in need of protection, to identify ever-changing ways in which they could be threatened, and to become aware of the vulnerabilities of your organization to those threats. That was from my side. Thank you.
Are you done with this?
Yes, sir.
So overall, I would say from explanation point of view, it was good. Okay. But there is some room of improvement because some of the sites some of the topics I saw that you were completely reading it. Okay. And somewhere some topics needed a example, but there was no example. So I believe that was somewhere lacking.
Okay, sir.
So it was lacking with compared to examples, there were two less examples, and based on like how big your topic was, we needed more examples, I would say. Okay. Other than that, I would say it was okay, but you need to create a PPT with when you have 10 topics like that. So you need to summarize your entire report in a PPT. Don't just show the
Okay,
docs.
sir.
Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
see, people before have shown the docs and they have not got proper marks because they showed the docs and this is a presentation. Okay. So you may receive less marks because this is not a PPT. So we have multiple factors for scoring. So in terms of PPT and there was no reference, there was acknowledgement, but there was no reference where you collected all this data. You need to give proper reference at the end after the
Okay,
conclusion.
sir.
There was nothing like that, and you also didn't follow the proper structure of asking if there is any Q&A. Okay, see, there are not many people who will ask, but still it is a formality to ask if there is any Q&A. Okay.
Okay, sir.
You missed that. I would say overall, see, the from explanation point of view, it was good. Only thing I would say is was that there was not enough examples. We needed more examples. Other than that, I would say it was okay. Okay. But
Okay.
next time when you have something like that, when you have report and there is lot of text, try to make a PPT with only include important points, just important point, and say the factual thing in the explanations. Okay. So next time, keep this in mind. I would say is not overall it was okay. It was okay. 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 So I will
Thank you,
now
sir.
move on to next question. Yeah. So Sudhanshu Kadam.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Please start.
Sir, is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is usable. Please start.
Hello, sir. My name is SUDHANSHU and my domain name is Design Implementation of Data Science Solution on Azure. The task that was allotted to me was to create and run an experiment in Azure machine learning. So the contents are as follows. The first is the machine learning studio. Second is the importance of data. Third is the data processing. Fourth is the machine learning algorithm. Fifth is training the model, and last is the demonstration. So what exactly is a machine learning studio? A machine learning studio is a graphical user interface based integrated development environment for construction and operations of machine learning algorithm so that we can get a solution out of it. So when we use machine learning algorithm, basically we need data to make them function. So what exactly is data? Data is certain benchmarks that we use for benchmarks or certain groups measures that we use for training our model. So a good data allows the organization to establish benchmarks and goals to keep moving them forward. So the next step was to do data pre-processing. So what exactly is data pre-processing? Data pre-processing is now we are going to train our model. So we first need to pre-process the data and make it ready so that we don't have any false data or any wrong data and we don't face any problems later. So we pre-process the data earlier so that we get a clean data to for training our model. So machine learning algorithm. So a machine learning algorithm is basically a method by which system conducts conducts the predicting output values, so that we get what exactly the model can predict and how exactly it is working. So training a model simply measures good values so that weight and the bias from examples in various supervised learning machine learning algorithms. We use model by examining various data so that we train the model in such a way so that it can consider all the data and give us a output in such a way that all the data is satisfied and we get a better results from it. So I will now go to the demonstration. So as you can see over here, sir, this is the workspace that I have created. Over here, I have used the diabetes test data. So if you go in Explore, we can see the data set over here, that is age, sex, BMI, BP, etc. is used over here. As you can see over here, this is the compute where we have used for pre-processing the data. Similarly, if you go over here, this is the overall overview of the studio. As you can see, I have used the voting ensemble program over here. A voting ensemble is an ensemble machine learning model that combines from multiple other models. It is a technique that may be used to improve model performance, ideally achieving better performance than any single model used in the ensemble. So if you click on the, we get a click on the algorithm, we get a model summary that exactly how the model works and what exactly have we got. As you can see over here, the 100% sampling is done over here. That is the percentage of input training data that was used to train the model is 100%. That is, as you can see, all the data that we have over here was used in training the data. So as you can see over here, this is the output that we got when we train the model. You can see the root mean squared error over here is 3.380 and so on. Similarly, the median absolute error is 2.1795 and so on. So over here we have learned how to create and run an experiment. That was the task allotted to me, and I have run the experiment over here and got the related output. So that was all about my task and presentation. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. I was just asking if someone will turn off for the camera. So, was that your account, the Azure account that you just showed? Because somewhere I read it was created by Nikita Chaudhary.
Yeah, yes, sir. Actually, sir, I had a 1 month subscription earlier, but it got deactivated, so I used my friend's account over here.
So, did you do this task or your friend did this task?
No, sir. I have done this task.
But how can we verify if you have done the task? Because in the data set, I can clearly see it is created by Nikita Chaudhary.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, actually, sir, I have posted the query on Trello also, but I didn't receive any like solution. So, sir, I also tried creating other accounts, but I was facing the same error, so I used my friend's account.
Okay. So overall, I would say your presentation was like explanation was not up to the point that I was expecting it to be. Okay, so I would say it was quite vague because it didn't fulfill the criteria of what you are supposed to do. That was not specified. Like what the point of this entire presentation is. You just say this is how we do it. In the demo, you said this is the steps and everything. We got the mean square and everything, but it didn't make sense to I believe anyone why you are doing this. And the simple reason is because you didn't introduce what your task was at the start. You have to specifically specify what your task is, what was aim, what you are expecting it to be, and how it turned out. Okay, so what are the output that we should expect at the end of this presentation? Okay, if you didn't explain it, that is why it became quite vague. If you had done this part at the start, then it will make sense to us that why you are doing this. Okay? And also, I have said this again and again, as a when you are working with the data, you need to explain the data set itself, so that it makes sense to us what the data is, how the algorithms are working on it, and what is the expected output, and did you get the output or not, so that we can verify yes that your task was done. Okay, because see, you are using someone else's account, and then even your presentation is not being, we don't have any way to clarify if you did the task, right?
Okay, sir.
That is the problem. See, if you are getting a technical issue, that is fine. Your teammates are helping you, that is also fine. They will get extra evaluation marks for communication and everything. Okay, but make it like that so that we can verify yes it was done by you. Okay,
Okay,
so
sir.
if you have done it, you must have had the date of creation and everything.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so cross verify with that, because if she had also done it, you have also, it might be different times for both of you.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
yeah, if so, if anyone asks you for the verification, you can give it to them that this was the date of creation, and for the data set, it says we can't accept that. Okay, you have to create a data set of your own and do the task. Okay, then we will
Okay,
say
sir.
it was done by you, and yeah, record the task while you are doing it, because you have already done it. Okay, so it will not
Sir.
take you too much time for this time. You will do it quickly. Okay, so
Yes,
you
sir.
can ask her to let you the account. You can just do the task, record it, and then you can post it on there. Okay, and
Okay, sir.
say that this was the problem, because in future if you need the same account, then we can help you with that. So ask
Okay,
it in
sir.
the technical queries. If no one respond to you tomorrow, then I will reply, forward your query to Devashish. He will look into the issue,
Okay,
because
sir.
you need the account for the task, right? In future if you want, so you can't always use your account. So okay,
Okay.
so do that, and work on your explanation part. Okay, try to see, the thing is, when you are giving a presentation based on data science, it becomes really hard to present it, because we are supposed to explain something an algorithm or a data or a huge data set to the users who are not from our domain, and it's become really hard for viewers to understand what is going on. Okay, so with that, you should explain what the data is, how it is working, and what the expected output is, so that people will have a clear scenario in their head that what is going on. Okay, so next time work on the explanation part. I would say overall it was quite good. For the
Okay, sir.
newbie point of view, it was quite hard for them to understand, but for someone who knows what is going on, it is a good explanation.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And your overall PPT was good, although you forgot one slide, that is for the reference. Okay, you need to include the reference slide, and if there is
Okay,
no
sir.
reference, then you can upload your code or upload the features somewhere as a Google Doc. Make a step-by-step guide of the Google Doc and upload it in the GitHub and to show the link. Okay, that is
Okay, sir.
also relevant. So next time when you are doing, try to have a reference link so that people can go to the doc or to GitHub and check it. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sure.
Okay, so I will move on to next question, that is Yathin Rao.
Hello, sir. Am I
Yeah.
audible and
Yes,
visible?
you are audible. Yes, you are
Oh.
audible, visible. Please start.
Okay. Share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is visible. Start.
Okay. Is it full screen?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, good evening, sir, and good evening, everyone. My name is Yathin Rao, and I'm from NI Mysore. I belong to the web development group, and my project name is Introduction to Web Standards and JavaScript Concepts and Fundamentals. And in that, I'll be taking up the task data types, variables, and operators in JavaScript. So what I will be presenting in this presentation will be the basic intro, then the data types. I'll be talking about variables, operators. I'll be showing you a website, and then I will conclude the topic. Before I get started with data types, variables, and operators, let's understand why we're using JavaScript. First of all, JavaScript is used as a client-side scripting language, and it is one of the most popular language for web development. Any other frameworks are usually built around it, and with JavaScript, we add behavior to the website. So in order with HTML and CSS, you can only go up to displaying your images and text. But with JavaScript, you can add behavior to your program. And main features about JavaScript involves it's mainly DOM manipulation. And to do this, we need to understand various methods, various data types, variables, and operators. And why this is important is because even though DOM manipulation is one of the characteristics of JavaScript, data type, variable, and operators are very important because these are used in all languages, not only JavaScript. It is a fundamental for all languages. You might be from any programming language, main programming language, but you will be needing to learn data types, variables, and operators. So I'll move on further. I'll be talking about data types. So it's very self-explanatory. The type of data. So you're having a data, you want to know what you know what type it is. So if I'm talking about 30 is a number. If I'm saying there's a text saying hello world or JavaScript or Yathin, it's a string, it's a message, it's a string. Suppose there is true or false values, then it's Boolean. And I'll talk about object now. Object is nothing but it's like a key value pair of data or functions. It's a set of a key value pair. What null and undefined are? Null is basically it represents intentional absence of any object value, and undefined is when you are not using the variable later on. You're just you're not you have declared it somewhere, but you're not using it anywhere. You just mentioned it in the, maybe you have declared it in the start of the program, but you forgot to use it. So then JavaScript automatically tells it as undefined. And what symbol is a unique identifier. It helps you to create unique identifier for objects. I'll be explaining more about this further on once I explain variables. So variable, I think in the previous one of the presenters told that variable is like a bucket. You can store any value in it and any type of value in it. So it's think of it as a bucket. Now there are three types of variables. You can use var, you can use let, and you can use const. So var is one of the most flexible variables. You don't have to worry about it a lot. Maybe you have to know when not to use it more than when to use it. So you can use a var when you want to reassign any variable, when you want your variable to be redeclared also sometimes. You can let, on the other hand, you cannot redeclare it, but you can reassign it. I will be explaining all that in the examples in the next, but I'll be just giving a brief one-liner for it. And const is when you don't want the variable value to change later on in the program. So first example will be for string, number, and Boolean. Over here, I've used var name is equal to John, and John is under quotations. So this is how we represent a string. Okay. In this, if I've used var name is equal to John, which means that I can change the value of name elsewhere in the program. If I had used let name is equal to John, I cannot go to the next line and write let name is equal to Yathin, because I've already, like I said, you cannot use let to redeclare it. You can only reassign it. So if I wrote name is equal to Yathin in the next line, it's perfectly fine. But if I write let name is equal to John in the first line, and I write let name is equal to Yathin in the second line, it will not work. It's not okay. Next one is number, var age is equal to 30. This is how you define a number. You can even put const age is equal to 30. That way you cannot change the value of age. Okay. And in the end, it's a Boolean value. So var is student is equal to true. That means the value of is student is now true. Okay. The next one is null. Null, I will say that you usually intentionally, when you want to make a variable point to nothing, you set it as null. Okay. Usually you will use it to assign a variable to null, and then you will compare it. If some variable is equal to null, then don't do this. Otherwise, do that. Do the next statement. Something like that. Undefined. Okay. So, like I said, one of the presenters told that variable is like a bucket. Now, imagine you got the bucket and you don't use it at all. You just kept it there. That's what undefined is. You mentioned a variable, you forgot to use it, or you didn't want to use it, or you just didn't use it. It becomes undefined. How does it work in this example? In this example, the first one, it's perfectly fine. I have written a function greet, and I have written a function greet, and it returns hi. And later on, if I console log this line, let str is equal to greet, it shows hi. Over here, it's not fine because function ends on the function has to return something. Because I haven't written anything, JavaScript says that, okay, this function is not right, it's undefined. So when you do console log the str, you will not get anything, it will be undefined. So basically, in this case, the bucket is broken, so you're not using it. JavaScript decided not to use it. Now the last one, object. Object is a very strong and very, for beginners, it's very underrated, I would say, but later on in JavaScript, it becomes very powerful. Over here, you can see it's a collection of different key value pairs like name, NI, location, Mysore, established 1946, and even the function. And how you will display, how will you use this function? Just the name of the object, dot operator, and then the function. So, and it gives a console log of, if you do console log, you'll get NI was established in 1946. The function displays that. Fine. The last data type is symbol. Over here, if I show you the example, let symbol 1 is equal to symbol, and inside I have given Yathin. I will explain you what that is. I have done the same thing for another variable. I have made it into a symbol, and I've console logged it. So if you use symbol before, you will know what the answer is. But by inhibition, you will think that it's true. But that's not the case. It's going to return false. So if you read what is commented here, when you use symbol, every time it creates a new global symbol. So it creates a new symbol, new unique identifier. So whatever is in the parenthesis is nothing but a label given to that symbol. So there are two different symbols with the same label, but the two symbols are different. You will use symbol only when you are like giving value to maybe a third-party API. You want to iterate it that way. Right now, as a beginner, you don't usually use this. Next one is operator. Operators are basically of say 5 types, and usually you with operators you perform operations. Simple as that. The first one is arithmetic operator. Any multiplication, addition, subtraction, division you want to go forward with, you use arithmetic operators. For when you're comparing two variables, or when you want to check if they're equal or not, or if they're greater than or equal to, lesser than or equal to, use comparison operators. Usually all these operators are maybe comparison operators are usually used with if conditions. So if I have to say, if a person is greater than 18 years of age, then that person can vote. Else, he will not vote. He or she will not vote. Fine. Logical operator are basically how you have and or. So you have symbol ampersand, or the pipelines, or the pipes, or the exclamation for not. These are used to perform logical operations, and they return Boolean values. Okay. So if I say true and true, it returns true. Assignment operators. These are used to assign values. It's simple as that. I will give you an example in the next slide. Conditional operators are used to you will check a condition. If it is true, you will perform a set of this expression. Otherwise, you will perform the other expression, which is false. here's the example. Num1 and num2 are two variables. Num1 is 10, num2 is 20. These both are arithmetic operations. If you add num1 and num2, you get you store that value in result 1, and that is 30. 10 plus 20 is 30. If you multiply them, it's 200. Here you're storing whatever num1 greater than num2 returns. So num1 greater than num2, what is it? 10 greater than 20. Is it true? No, it's false. So is greater will hold the value false. Last but not the least, no, it's not the last. Is both true? Here we have used the Boolean operators. So logical operators. Num1 greater than 5. Is it greater than 5? Yes. Num2 is less than 30. Is 20 less than 30? Yes. Now both are true. Therefore, the entire expression becomes true, and that is stored in is both true. The last one is x plus is equal to y. This is an assignment operator. So x plus equal to y. What it does is it basically gives you x is equal to x plus y. If I have to give a common example, if you have written JE, you will know that for every correct answer, 4 marks is awarded. So x is nothing but the current score, and y is nothing but 4. So for every correct answer, your current score will be increased by 4. So instead of writing that every time, you can just write x plus is equal to y, or current score plus is equal to 4. This is the ternary operator. So I have written a long code here, which is nothing but which I had explained you. If age is equal to 18 and there is adult. Now, if age is equal greater than or equal to 18, then yes, they are an adult. Otherwise, they're not an adult. Now, using a ternary operator, you can make the code very short and simple to understand. So over here, this is the expression you want to check. Age greater than or equal to 18. Now, there's a question mark, which means that it's a ternary operator. It's the end of the expression. Now, if this expression is true, it returns yes. This is where the true condition is written, and this is where the false condition is written. So if age is greater than or equal to 18, you are returned yes, or if it is not, then no. Fine. I will be explaining how I used all these data types, variables, and operators through my code. It's a calculator, and you can check it out. I have very detailedly I've commented and written documented it on GitHub, and basically this is how the calculator looks like. I'll share the screen. I hope you can see the code very clearly. So I'll just explain the logic chunk by chunk, okay, not line by line, because it's fairly long code. So over here, this is normally assigning all the values, all the query selectors to to various variables to make it easy later on. After doing that, I added logic for number buttons. So for the numbers, there are some cases where I'm using this calculator as a string-based calculator. So I can't do 2 plus 5, and then if I do minus, it doesn't give me the output directly. It will finish, and only when I press equal to it returns the value. So for that reason, I have written some logic. So if the display, if I haven't pressed equal to, then keep adding to the string. If there's already a number there and I keep pressing plus, or if I keep pressing minus, then replace that value that I've written over here. So those two logics I've used, and based on that I've added an event listener. Okay, so for events, I made an array. Because it's a string, I converted all the string into an array. So numbers are in one array, and the plus and minus are in one array. I think I've written it over here. Yeah. So I hope it's visible. Yeah, over here, this line. So numbers are one array, and the operations are one array. And if I will use index of operator to find out where that is. So if I show a divide, So I've used splice. So over here, I will use index of divide. So divide is at number 4. So anything, the number before 4, the index 4, that will be, say 34, will be divided by the number after the divide. So 23. That's how I use splice here. Okay. Similarly for multiply. When it comes to addition, I have to use parse float, because when I add, since I'm using this as string concept, when I'm adding two strings, if I do 2 plus 3, I'll get 23. For a person, it look like 23. So I have to parse float it, make it into a number, and then add it, and then return the value. It was a bit of hassle, but it works fine. And to conclude, these are the important concepts of JavaScript, data types, variables, and operators. And main point will be to know, it is equally important to know when not to use a particular data type or variable or operator. That it is more important than knowing when to use it. So not knowing when not to use it is equally or more important to when to use it. And by learning all these concepts, you can create a more efficient, more effective code and more dynamic code. So thank you for allowing me to present, and I will take up any questions.
I believe no questions. So we will go on with the report. So I would say, see, your overall presentation was good, I would say. Okay, in terms of explanation point of view, the way you explained. See, we we have a way of scoring the presentation. Okay, so if I just go over it, so your hook and story is basically the flow of your presentation. That was quite good, I would say. Okay, and then your PPT is also good looking. It is good, but there are some problem with the PPT. That is, it is not consistent. Okay, so when you have a topic name or something, make sure that they are consistent. The coloring, the topics, the heading, and everything, they are consistent. The font is consistent. Okay, because in somewhere I saw that there was an image, and then there is a text somewhere in the middle or on the right side. Don't do it like that. Okay, because it it gives a feature of a uniqueness, but it looks out of place. So make it consistent, it will look good overall. Okay, and have the coloring and the this formatting same for all the slide. Other than that, you had the question answer, but you didn't include the slide. Okay, I will you include the slide, right, for Q&A. Okay, and your reference and reference slide was also there. The conclusion was also there. Okay, so overall, I would say it was good, but there was too much text. Okay, see, when we have a presentation where we have to include lot of text. Okay, because all the things that you have included, they are not the explanatory things, they are the factual things. They are the facts that has to be included. So you can have more number of slides. Think of it as a movie. See, when you go and watch a movie, we say there are 4 actors or 5 actors. Okay. So, but there are actually, that is not the case. There are more than 100 supporting actors also. Okay. See, the thing is, the slide that gets the more screen time is your main slide. Okay. So you can have 18 main slide and more than 20 supporting slide. So you can split it. Because see, when you have variables explaining, you are explaining the variables and everything. You are going to go over all the variables. So it doesn't matter if they are in the same slide or in the multiple slide, because you are going to explain them in the all of it. Okay, you are not going to leave any of it. So make sure to more use more number of slide, so it doesn't look messy. It will be more readable. Okay, your explanation was good, but it was not readable. So if I got lost somewhere and I wanted to find what is going on, I can't read your slide. Okay, that is the thing. So next time, see, you have a a way of explaining that is unique to others, and that is a good thing. So if you polish your explanation part more, you will become really good at presenting. But work on the presentation creation skill. Okay, make your slides more readable. So make sure to keep in mind for next time. Okay. Overall, your explanation was good, but make it more readable. So now I'll move on to the next question.
Thank you, sir.
So next person is Raj Baindra.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you're audible.
Just a second, I will share my screen and am I visible?
Yes, you're audible. You can start.
Okay. Is my screen visible, sir?
Yeah, it is visible. You can start.
Okay. So, can you see my presentation?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. So, I'm myself Raj Baindra, and I am from the web development group. So, our task was to learn the concepts about the data types, variables, and operators in JavaScript, how they work, and how to use them and when to use them. So, first of all, let us see why we use JavaScript. So we have made a website. We have the skeleton of the website, which is known as the HTML, and we have used CSS to make it look like beautiful. Now we want the user to interact with the website. We want that the user can click any button and something behind the scenes should happen. And we want to make the website dynamic. Yeah, the user can give input to the dynamic to the website, and the website can show output to the user. So for all these reasons, we use JavaScript. Now in JavaScript, there are there are various different kind of frameworks to build backend applications such as Node.js, Vue.js. We will not go into that part. Uh, let us see the data types in JavaScript. So there are different data types in JavaScript. So the data types that contain values are like string, number, big int, boolean, and object. So if we want to store a text, for example, hello world or my name is Raj, I can use a string variable. I can use a string data type to store that particular value. If I want to store integers, floating numbers, decimal numbers, then I can use number. If my number is too big, it can't be stored in a number, then I can use big int. If I want to store a value which is either true or false, then boolean comes into the picture. Also, we have object data type. We will see what is object data type further on. So also there are object data types such as arrays and state. So what is an array? Array is a list of values which are of same data type are stored. For example, an array of integers, an array of string. Like this, we store values. Also, there is a datetime object in JavaScript from which we can uh, access the current date and time, and all other functionalities are defined in that. There are two data types that don't contain any value in them, which are undefined and null. So let me tell you about undefined. So an interesting thing about undefined that when we write a code in the JavaScript, as we know, JavaScript is an interpreted language. Am I audible, sir, to you?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay. So as we know that JavaScript is an interpreted language. So initially, when we write the code and we declare the variable, there is a global execution context in JavaScript, which is where the code is stored in the code is stored. So what happens there? There all the variables are mapped with undefined initially. Then, as we know, JavaScript is an interpreted language. It will run the code line by line, and the values will be replaced from undefined to the value that we have defined in the code. That's how execution context in JavaScript work, and that's the use of undefined there. Also, let us see some example. Like as I told you, string boolean can contain two types of values, true and false. Now here I've defined an object const person, and here we can see there is a map type structure where there are key and value pairs. Now the first name is John, last name is Joe, age is 50. So how can I access them? If I want to print them, I can use console.log person.first name. Then John will be displayed on the screen. Similarly, if I want to print the other values, I can use person.last name
%.age, %.eye color. That's how we can access the values in the person object. Now let us talk about variables. As we know that variables are used to store the values, and before me one of the in one of the presentation he said like it is just like a bucket. So yeah, variables are bucket where we store values in them. So there are different types of variables in there. First of all, it is var. So so what is the use of var? So as we know that if we define anything in a value in var, we can redeclare var. So in the old browser, variables were used at that time. Lets and cons were not introduced. So in the old browser, the JavaScript code has variables in them. Now, if we talk about let, so we can define a variable using let, and if we want to basically if its value is gonna change, then we should use let. If its value is constant, for example, the value of pi 3.14, it will remain constant. It will not change for, in future. So we can use a variable named const pi, and we can declare like that. So now there are different ways to declare variables. So I have taken one of the way to declare a variable. As in a single statement, we can declare multiple variables, just like let person equals to John Doe, comma car name equals to like this, comma price like this. So like this, we can in a single statement we can define multiple variables, and we can assign values to them. Okay. So now we move further. Now, what are the use cases of variables? As I have told you, in older version of browser, var was used. If the value cannot change, then we can use const variable. So here I've taken the example of let. Let's see. Here is a const price one, which is I have defined as 5, const price 2 is 6. Now let total is price one plus price two. Similarly, its value can be changed, but it cannot redeclare. I can change. I can also declare another variable name const price 3 equals to 10, and I can add it in total again. So like this. Now let us move further on operators. Like what are operators? So they basically work on the operand. They basically manipulate the operand. What are the operands? Operands are just like these variables which contain some values in them. Like we can perform different kind of operations according to the operator we are using. Like if we are using arithmetic operator, we are using assignment operator or comparison operator, etc. So let us talk about what are the arithmetic operators in JavaScript. So as we know that plus, minus, multiplication, addition, division, modulus, these kind of operators are known as arithmetic operators. For example, we want to do addition, then we can do a plus b. If we want to do subtraction, we can do a minus b. If we want to take a mod value, then we can do a mod b. So these are the things that are used. Now we can see about the assignment operator. So these are very interesting. I find them more convenient. Like we don't have to write the whole statement. We can use this as the shortcut method. I will show further in the example how they are used. Like there is equals to, then there is plus equals to, equals to. There is also an slash equals to, modulus equals to, etc. So if we talk about comparison operator, so if we want to perform logical operation, then we can use comparison operator. For example, we have written a conditional statement. If this condition is satisfied, then do this. Else if this condition is satisfied, then do this. For example, if I have defined variables like a equals to 10 and b equals to 15. Now I want to check if a is greater than b, then implement this logic. So in those conditional statement, I can use these comparison operators. So either the value will be true or the false. According to that, my code will execute. Similarly, there are logical operators like and, or, not equals to. So what ampersand logical operator do is, for example, I want to check the condition like if my both condition, if I have a particular variable and I want that I have two condition and I want them that the both conditions should be true at the same time. I want both of them to be satisfied at the same time. Then I can use this ampersand logical operator. If I want that one of the conditions should satisfy in my conditional statement, in my if statement, then execute my logic. And for similarly, not equals to self-explanatory. Ternary operator. So ternary operator is a it is a shortcut to write the if-else statement. I mean, we don't have to write that if in brackets, then braces, and then all that. Instead, we can use this to write an single line statement using the ternary operator. Also, there is a type of operator that returns the data type of its operand in the form of a string. Now, I have mentioned some examples. So we can see that we have assigned a value to x. We have used the let x equals to 10. Now we have assigned the value to x, and it is an assignment operator equals to that we have used. And here is an addition arithmetic operator that we have used to store the value inside. Similarly, the all other operator like minus, multiplication, division, modulus can be used here. All those are arithmetic operators. Now, as we have seen that plus equals to assignment operator, here we have let a equals to 10, b equals to 5, and a plus equals to b is similar to a equals to a plus b. So it works in the same way, and we can use this assignment operator to do this. Here it can be multiplication also, which will show a equals to a into b. So like this, the assignment operators can be used. So here is an example of comparison operator. I am checking if text1 is less than or greater than text2. According to that, a Boolean value will be assigned to this result. If it is if it is less than, then result will be true. If it is not less than, then the result will be false. So I have used all the concepts to make a simple calculator using the JavaScript. So first of all, I can show you the demo, then we can discuss about the code, how the code is working. Just a second. So like this, here is my code. There is my calculator, and if I want like 10 into 50, then it's 500. If I want to do division, if I want to basically clear the values, I can do like this. And so this is just similar how a calculator works. Now, just a second. Now let us see how the code is working, what is the working of a code. So am I audible to you, sir?
Yes. No.
Okay. So here you can see it's my HTML code. We have defined different buttons here, and here is a display ID that we have. Here is a division tag which has ID display, and the display is this, where we can see all the values that are the output or the value that we are giving as input. And here all those buttons are there, and it is a class node button. Okay, so this is my code. Initially, I have taken a variable named display, and using the DOM properties document.getElementById, and I am using the display ID to get the this division tag. What it will be used? It will be used to show the output and all the values that we are giving input in the calculator. We can show it using this display variable. Now we have a list of button here. So now we have various buttons. So and we have made a class known as button. So when I will take document.get element by class name, it will return all the buttons from 1 to 9 and 0 and all the clear button, all the arithmetic operator buttons also. It will return that. Now I have all the buttons right now, okay? But when I press any button, how would I know that which button is pressed? So for that, we have to map the buttons and we have to map an event to them, and we have to check which button is pressed. So I have mapped the button, and I have added a event listener click. So whenever we click on event, we can also print using e.target.inner text here. It will tell which button is pressed. It will print it inner text. For example, if 8 button is pressed, using this, if we can console, it will print 8 in there. Now I have defined some switch statements here. So for example, if 8 is pressed, so for example, if clear is pressed, first of all, let's the case where clear is pressed, C. So what it do in a calculator, it basically clears all the output that is on the screen. So what I have done, as we know, I have defined a display variable which have taken by this ID we have accessed it, where we will display all the values of the calculator. So I will set the inner text value to empty string. So everything on the display will be clear. Here I can take on the another case. If it is the backspace case, in this case, what I have to do, I have to remove one digit, one value from the right side. So I have used display.innerText.slice method. It will start clearing one by one from the right side, from the back, not all values at the same time. And if I press equal to button, so in this case, what will happen? We have to evaluate now. We have given the mathematical operation. Now we have to evaluate. So JavaScript has a predefined function known as eval, in which I can give the display inner text, which is currently right now, and it will evaluate it and store in this inner text, and it will be displayed on the calculator. What if the mathematical expression that we have given is invalid? So what would happen in that case? For example, we have done 2 plus 5 plus, and we have hit equals to, but we have not defined what should we add after that plus. So in that case, it is an invalid expression. So for that, I have used the try catch clause. If it is valid, then it will display the result. If it is not valid, then it will show the invalid expression. And the default case is here, whatever we typing on the calculator should display on the display. So that's the total working of the JavaScript code and the HTML. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, then I am open for that.
I believe no questions. So we'll move on to the review. So see, the overall your presentation was good. It has a good flow. You explained what the task is, so it made sense what you are actually trying to convey, what it is. Okay, but when you have like near a code, try to explain it try to have a flow chart or some kind of code block so that it becomes short for you to explain, and it doesn't consume too much time for the expression part. So next time when you have a really large code, try to have a flow chart or something, because you had a calculator, so you could have easily had a flow chart to explain the working. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So next time keep that in mind. Other than that, I would say it was okay. But also in your PPT include the. See, you didn't include the intro slide for the task. Okay, you had a proper expression why we are talking about the JavaScript and everything, but it didn't had a dedicated slide. So people who missed what you said completely missed that part. Okay, so make sure to include it in the slide, and also include a reference task, reference conclusion, and Q&A. So next time keep that in mind. Include the slides. Okay,
I will definitely do that next time.
Yeah. Okay. So we now will move on to expression.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So next person is SAURABH Singh.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible. You start.
Am I visible, sir?
Yes, you are visible.
Finally. Okay. I'll just share my screen, sir. Is it visible?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So, hey everyone, good evening. My name is SAURABH, and I am from Web Developer Group. My presentation topic is about core principles and variable data types and operators, which my fellow friends have already explained to you. So I'll just give you some examples and fill it up. Okay, so here's my flowchart, the table of contents. So starting, so as we know, the internet that looked nothing like early days of gray boxes and walls of text. The way we interact with internet have radically changed over the years. So the responsiveness, though those interactive websites, these were always all possible due to JavaScript. But one question arrives that what if we don't use JavaScript? So as my fellow web developer teammates have already built their own single page doctor's appointment page. This is mine. So what we did was use Figma. That's a tool to design a page. We used some blocks and text to design the page and use some annotations, animations, and all. But let's say we end up this page here itself and not assign any buttons or links or any click, but any redirecting buttons. We just end up the page here. Will this be okay? Will this be even called a website? So where's the responsiveness? Taking the same example, let's say this was for my fellow teammates, web developer teammates. Let's say we take example of YouTube. So left side shows the YouTube website without JavaScript. So as you can clearly see, there's only text, not play button, no video review previews or annotations or anything that says play the video. And on the right side, the same page, if you see, we have images and we have a play pause button, the timeline is given and all the everything. So of course you will go with the right side. So that's what is responsiveness. So all this is achieved by using different fundamentals and principles of JavaScript. And in this presentation, I'm going to be covering some principles briefly and three major topics like variables, data types, and operators that my teammates have already explained to you. I'll not explain it in detail as you have already listened to them. So when we talk about functions, they are a set of statements that perform a specific task. Talking about conditional statements, they are basically to execute different blocks of code on certain conditions. Loop, we talk about, they are basically used to execute a set of statements repeatedly until a specific condition is met. So, and talking about events and events listener, it allows to create interactive web pages by responding to user actions such as clicking a button. Let's say I've used all these principles and created a simple JavaScript page. This is my page. I'll just open the link. Yeah, so this is a simple login page. If I enter correct credentials, let's say I enter something wrong, some wrong credentials. Let's say I'm entering wrong password, right? So it'll show me a pop-up like the login failed. So it runs in the loop that the text, the credentials that were provided to us, it's not running. So we'll pop up a message like the login failed. And if I enter the right credentials, it will allow me through. So this is a simple login page using JavaScript. Okay. Okay, jumping back to my slide. This was my login page. Talking about the next major topics that are variables, data types, and operators. So the first one, variables. In JavaScript, variables are used to hold data values. They serve a short-term storage for values that the program can change. Programming requires usage of variables because they enable the dynamic manipulation of data. So JavaScript variables can store any form of data because they are dynamic. Variables can also be given new values while the program is running, like because it's flexible. And there are different ways to declare a variable, like using var, let, constant, nothing. Second topic is data types. Data types basically, in a short term, they are basically a classification of data which tells the compiler or the interpreter that how the programmer intends to use the data. Knowing data type is essential because they have an impact on how operators operate, as well as how variables are stored and handled. Originally, there are two types of data types. One, the primitive data type. In that we have string, boolean, number, undefined, null. What is string? So strings is basically JavaScript strings are basically for storing and manipulating texts. Numbers are they can be either a whole number, positive integer, negative number, floating point numbers. Talking about booleans, JavaScript booleans represent one of two values, true or false, and then undefined, a variable that has not been assigned a value. That is what we call undefined. And a null, the null value represents intentional absence of any object value. Second is reference data types, arrays and objects. Let's talk about the third major topic, that is the operators. Operators are basically symbols to perform that are used to perform operations on operands. Let's say, for an example, we have 2 plus 3 is equals to 5. So here that plus sign and that equal sign is the operators, and 2, 3 and 5 are the operands on which the operations are being performed. There are various types of operators that are arithmetic operators like addition, subtraction, multiplication. Then there are assignment operators, equals to, double equals to. Then there are comparison operators, less than, equal to, less, more. Then there are logical operators, like they are generally used for combining two or more relational statements. They return Boolean value, like some logical operators are and, not. Then the second last is conditional operators. They take three operands: condition followed by a question mark, then an expression to execute if condition is true, followed by a colon, and then finally an expression to execute if the condition is false. The last operator is a type operator. It is basically used for type checking and returns the data type of operand passed to it. So summing up all these three topics, I made a simple calculator, very simple basic calculator, and here's the calculator. If we perform any operations like 78 into 56, 69, anything, it will assign us a result. And if I just want to delete one number, it will delete the one number, and if I want to clear everything, then it will clear everything. It can perform any other operations like simultaneously, as you can see. So it will give me a value, and this was my task. So jumping back to my slide, these are my references, and here I end up. Thank you. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Thank you, sir.
You are done with it. Are you done with the?
Yes, I am done with. Yeah.
Overall, your presentation was good, I would say. Okay. It was fast-paced. It explained the important concept, but I think somewhere your expression was lacking, because in part of loop, okay, you had a proper example, you did explain it, and it was good. But you need to explain what the loop exactly is. Okay. You showed it's working in the project, but you didn't show how it is working. Sometimes you don't need, yeah. So you need, so you give us an example. This is how it is going on, but you didn't show how it is working behind the scene. Okay, you need to explain it properly, because sometimes we don't need a particular information in the slide, but it should be included in the explanation part. Okay, that is what makes it explanation. Okay, that should have been done, and all of your topics should have a one-liner to explain what these topics are. These are the things that are supposed to be in the presentation.
I didn't have my one-liner like
every topic. So it is a loop, have a one-liner or loop. Condition, what is a condition, have a one-liner. Because as I said to a previous intent, imagine a movie. There are 3 or 4 main actors. There are hundreds of supporting actors. It doesn't matter how many slides you have. The slides with the most screen time are the main slides. Okay. Even if you have 56 slides, if the only 13 slides are getting the main screen time, you will consider only 30 slides. Okay. Have it like that. And also, as a web developer who has worked on design, your formatting needs to be somewhere. Okay, your slide, it was not consistent. The typography, the coloring, the image, how it should be, the size of text and everything, it should be more perfect. Okay, you need more work on that.
There was like 2 slides, like my original page and the example slide. That's
the thing is, you are following same image on all the slides. See,
Acha.
there is one staircase. Okay.
That's staircase, right? Yeah.
And it takes most of the part of your slide. And there is one, a big chunk of paragraph.
That's the
It is not,
introduction.
efficient, and it doesn't really go well with your entire one slide. See, here you have a image. Go to the login part. Yeah, this one. Different image, different this. You have a pink color image. Okay, black doesn't go well with that. Okay, and the typography itself, you have different font for everything. Okay, so work on that, I would say, because see, you are a paid intern. When you give a presentation, we may ask you to, we may use your presentation as a reference for the other interns. And if they see it, and if it is not, clearly confirmed to what is going on, then it will become irrelevant. Okay. So you have to make it like that. But as time goes on, your skills will improve, because I can see that you have a unique way of presenting. It is really unique, different than other people, which is the clear and concise way of explaining. So it is good thing. Okay. As time goes on, and you will perfect your presentation skill, it will become really good. Okay. So for now, I would say focus on the presentation making skill, the formatting and the what content you are adding, how much you are adding, and how you are orchestrating it. See, the presentation is actually a skill. Okay, not everyone is a good presenter. You and me, we are both different. Maybe you are better presenter than me, and I'm not a better presenter than you. But that doesn't mean that you can't do it or I can't do it. Everyone has a different way of doing. When you are presenting, you are an orchestrating opera. In opera, there is one person who is orchestrating. He has one stick, he is doing nothing but he's orchestrating, making sure that everything has a proper tune, everything has a proper flow. So make sure you orchestrate your presentation in a flow that it doesn't look out of way anywhere. It will make it give it a flow that will give you 10 out of 10 score on Google story. Okay. For now, it is good. As a beginner, this is a good. But next time, I want it more perfect. Because see, if a probationary intern was giving it, I would say this is a perfect presentation. Okay, but as a paid intern, I'm expecting more from you.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so I would say for now this is good, but next time try more better. Okay.
Sure.
The thing that you need most work in this as a in this presentation was the way you have created the presentation. Other than that, your explanation was on point. It was the brilliant explanation. Even though we have the same topic, before you two people given the presentation,
Yes.
but the way you explained was unique. It made you stand out. Okay, all three of you. That is the thing. You had a different way. They had the different way. So I would say only thing I can tell you is the way you have created your presentation. Try to improve. Other than that, it is good. Okay. So for now, I believe it is already 9 p.m. So we can't have other presentation. I will talk to sir about the timings and all to see if we can conduct more presentation on what else can be done. Because the thing is, I can see there are 18 hand raised and you have completed. So there are still 17 people left for today. So I will talk to sir, see what we can do about it, and we will try to complete it all of your presentation. We will come up with some kind of idea to complete it by the end of this week or next week. We will try to complete it. Okay, everyone. So we will stop for the day. If your general queries are not answered, you can always go to the technical chat, and always try to have a technical chat between 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. because that is the time when support people are having the same uptime. Okay, so your queries will be answered if you are doing it between the 10 to 6. So try that. If it is not, then you can always come in the meeting, put it in the chat box that you did put this message in the yesterday, but it was gone ignored. For the normal progress, maybe we will not ignore you, but we will not reply you. So you have given a technical query on a progress update. Maybe we may not reply to you. That doesn't mean we have ignored your progress update. Okay. But if it is like general queries or something and it was ignored or no reply was given to you, you can certainly come in the meeting and tell me that your general query was ignored. Okay. But for the progress update, don't worry about getting a reply from us. If you have given a progress update, it is already marked from our side. Okay. So thank you for your presentation for today. We will continue tomorrow.